Have your attention, please. Welcome everybody to the zoning board, May 26, 2026. My name is Marty Akins. I'm the chairman. On the board, we have Mr. Chin, Mr. Himmel, Ms. Barry, Mr. O'Brien, Ms. LeMay in the back, and Mr. Frankel's in the back. Beside me is the clerk, Mrs. Griffin, and behind me, the head of inspectional services, Rob Conlon. If you have a cell phone, would you please put it on vibrate or silent so you don't interrupt the meeting when people are talking? If you want to talk, please step outside. If anyone's going to testify tonight, could you please stand up and take an oath? If you don't take an oath, you will not testify. If you don't take an oath, you will not testify.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the matters now in hearing? Thank you.
I want to call on the last case first. ZBA 2615, Boston Properties Management. Are they here?
Yes,
Please step forward. I understand you haven't gone to planning yet,
that's right.
and they have a lot of things on this list here. I'd rather see, and I think the board would rather see you go to planning and then come here. I know you do what you want to do. To me, there's too many issues on that.
I discussed this with both the city solicitor and with the planning department, and we both agreed, or they both agreed that we could go here first. The reason we did so, Mr. Akins, is because relief is needed.
Right,
So.
a lot of relief. A lot of
Yeah.
relief in the park and the sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think planning should handle some of that before it gets here.
Yeah, the whole issue of doing it this way is for costs associated with the development, you know? I mean, there's a substantial cost for the planning board process. That's why we chose to do it this way, because
I get
if
it,
this
too.
board, for whatever reason, didn't think the relief was appropriate, then this matter wouldn't go forward to the planning board. I'll speak with my client about it
All right.
when they get here.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Under tonight's agenda. Huh? Oh, yeah, can you waive the reading in the minutes, please?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, move to accept and waive the reading of the minutes for the regularly scheduled meeting of May 12, 2026.
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. Under old business, ZBA 2565, Brittany Dunn for variance to retain recently erected 6-foot fence on the corner of the parcel in the premises numbered 7 Seashore Road. Is the applicant or representative here? Step forward. Hi, Mrs. Dunn.
Hi.
I know personally I've drove down that road many a time, and I'm gonna hear if someone else wants to speak tonight. They put up the cone, which I see, you can see the whole road, especially at night, you can see the whole road. That's probably the worst part of it, at night. You can pull out to the stop sign, you might go another foot past the stop sign, you can see the road and you can look down, but have you had complaints from your neighbors?
Not directly, but
Okay.
we did go to the,
I just wanna know if you had any.
no, I
Anyone
haven't
talk
heard
to-
from anybody.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Guys, we had a hearing on this, and we we're gonna put this on for tonight. Gave it 3 months. That was only up probably the last 4 weeks or so, that it's been up. If anything, I think we should give it a couple more months to see where that goes. But I know I've driven down that road many times. And you pull out, you're not in traffic when you get to look down the road. You really don't, so. Today I just pulled out of there. There was 2 trucks in the second lane. I pulled out and I looked. I took the first lane. As both trucks were going by me, I took that inside lane. And I wanted to prove to myself that you can't get out of there safely. So why don't we put this off to somewhere August 1st? And, yeah, I'll let him speak. Is that okay with everyone? Or you want to do July? You can do that. Wait a minute. I'm not done yet. Whoa up. We're going to listen to you all. But I'm just thinking what these guys are thinking. That's what we want to see, what the board thinks first.
Yep, I'm fine with the delay. I understand that council has been down there and the traffic department has been down there, and there's a potential reduction in the lane traffic, and they need a little bit of time to make sure that that's all working out, so that's fine with me.
Because that's what they were talking about, putting the first lane out past that street. So I think they need more time instead of just rushing into something first, but we'll let the people speak their thoughts and then we'll go through it. I'm just looking for a date.
Agreed.
No problem, agree.
The first available date in August is August 11th.
What about July? Is there something
July
late in
is
July?
July 14th or July 28th.
July 28th. Make a motion after. Anyone want to speak in this tonight on the motion? What we're going to do is move this to July 28th. But you can come up, speak, and give us some input, and that'd be great. We can all listen. Anyone want to speak? Come on up, please. You can come up, just stand in line. If there's more than one is, we can have people just, so we get an idea what you're thinking.
Sure.
Name and address for record.
Yeah, Mike Carter, 5 Post Island Road.
Yep.
It brings up the quote to me all the time, good fences make good neighbors, and we're all trying to be good neighbors here together. I think my wife Cindy and I have been on Post Island Road since 1987, and obviously speeding along C Street in that stretch, because it's 2 lanes in each direction,
bad.
is a real problem.
It is. They're doing 50 now.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's our major concern with people coming out at that intersection. We've been fortunate that there have not been any accidents of late, but we're trying to prevent a tragedy, basically.
Right.
And, the idea has come up of, having a traffic light there
Yeah.
that would solve the problem.
Right.
If the fence is allowed to stay. For years, there was a chain link fence there, so
Right.
you were able to see around it, okay? And again, so that's my input.
Like a crossing road, how they put a crossing road there, and the lights blink, so you gotta stop.
Yeah,
Instead, I don't know if the city would go, we'll ask them to go for a whole set of lights. But if you see a page, when you pull up and then that turns, and they start blinking on both sides, they're gonna have to stop anyway. So,
yeah, I think, a light, we've
to help.
spoken about a light that, is a vehicular light rather than just like a pedestrian
right.
kind of light, so.
All right.
So, now, thank you for listening to my input, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Next,
My name is Jessica Allen. I live at 14 Shoreside Road. I was here at the last meeting. Just 2 facts that I want to highlight. First, our city traffic engineer, Ally Luff, has put in writing that because of the fence, in quote, the intersection does not have adequate sightlines, which I also want to clarify was reiterated by an engineer brought in by the family who put up the fence at the last meeting, also clarified that the sightline was not appropriate to the standard of legal traffic code. The second point that I want to make is that to see if the new mayor actually fixed the code violation, my husband and I filed a public records request, and the city provided us with no traffic studies, no engineering calculations of this intersection. Instead, we were sent one email, which is in your packet, I believe, and it says that the traffic director admits that the mirror was a spare part donated to the department. The third thing that I want to note is that on a road, on a 2-lane road, cars going each direction, a mirror is not a legally sanctioned, safe, a traffic safety measure. And so I'm just unclear as to why we remain in conversation over this, quite frankly. It's just a public safety issue. I understand that in many cases we're at the zoning board talking about, how things look in the neighborhood, how things fit, how things legally go. But in this situation, it's a simple public safety measure. All of us are pulling out of that road every day. If people are in the closer lane, you cannot see them. Multiple times since the January meeting, people have been beeping at me because I'm trying to turn out with my 3 small children in the car. And I either cannot or I can, and I can risk my life with a car speeding at me going 60 miles an hour. And it's not a legal traffic remedy, that mirror. So I'm not sure what else there is to say. Thanks.
thank you, I will talk to them. Next,
Hello, my name is Marianne Balsamo, and I'm a resident of Post Island Road,
What number?
27 rather. I lived at number 10 Shoreside Road for my childhood. So I've been around that neighborhood, but I've heard you say that you felt like there was no issue with driving out of the street. However, myself and many multiple neighbors have stopped me and told me that they feel really at risk. I know you've probably received many letters, and also there's a lot of input from people. We don't feel safe to drive out of the street. And if the fence is not legal and the mirror is not legal, is there power in the zoning board to persuade the city safety
That's what I'm
to
gonna do. I'm
put
gonna
up,
talk- I'm gonna
to
talk
put
to
up
them
a
all.
light?
I'll talk to them all this week, because I didn't know what anyone was saying. No one told me nothing. I haven't heard nothing yet from anybody. No one's called me, no one's come to my house, no one sent a letter to me. If they did it, the city, I don't get no mail up there, so. And if it does come to the clerk, she would send it to me. But if it don't go to the clerk, I don't get it.
You mean mail
My
from-
email up there, I'm not spending my life on an email. I quit that when I quit my job and I retired. I was reading 400 a day. I says, I tell her, my clerk, call me if you send me an email, because I won't read it. I just won't. It's just, life's too hard enough. I don't need to spend all day on an email, and that's just the way I feel. I'm almost rebellious against email. I apologize for that.
So then you'll talk to
I will talk to everyone.
everybody in person.
Everybody that can help this, I will talk to them. I promise you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Next.
My name is Sal Balsamo. I also live at 27 Post Island Road. We had a meeting about this a while back, and it was my understanding that the delay from that meeting was to have a meeting tonight. My understanding about that was that at some particular point tonight, a decision would be made as to whether or not that fence could remain, or if the zoning board, for whatever reason, decided to allow that fence to remain up, to come up with some kind of solution. To delay this again,
The counselor did ask to let's put up that mirror, we'll see how it goes. Okay. I haven't got any feedback, and it's only been up about 4 weeks. So I didn't get any feedback. No one, I don't think, up here's got any feedback. That's why we're here tonight, to get some feedback from you, and then we'll go talk to the city and see what we can get done.
we did our due diligence in having a commuting and meeting a little while back. Why you didn't get any feedback on that meeting, it's kind of hard for me to understand.
I have,
Okay.
and I'm gonna tell
Well,
you.
let me give you my feedback on
Okay.
that. That mirror is totally inadequate. You're right, at night, you can see the headlights at a distance. In the day, you can't make out. It looks like a fly who may be coming. It's a dangerous situation. I just don't understand why we have to delay it yet again.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
if
talk
we
to
do-
everybody, all the departments, see what they can do, see what they have for money to put a set of lights there, how long it would take to get a set of lights, or do we do something else? That's what it, and you just can't get a set of lights in a week. I know you can't. So-
Okay, let me ask this question.
Yeah.
If it's delayed to the end
Hey,
of July.
hey, come on, we're trying to talk here. Want to talk, council, please go outside.
If it's delayed to the end of July, would we have a solution to this problem?
Yes,
We will.
you should, yes.
The zoning board will either make a decision
Right.
to have that
If-
fence
if no one
remain.
will help, the zoning board will help. Correct.
All right, I'll hold you to that.
You got it.
Okay.
No problem, sir. Next,
I think that's it.
anybody?
I will speak again.
Go ahead.
A little bit.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to speak to the sightline question with we used the company that the traffic department had told us to use for the study. And then based on that memo, I believe it was saying that we didn't meet the sightline because of the fact that cars are speeding. They're not doing the speed limit, which is not our
Yeah,
issue.
I get it.
So if cars were doing the speed limit, we would be within. And that brings up the biggest problem with this intersection is C Street. It's not the fence. I researched, and as far as I can tell, Quincy is unique in this whole 3-foot height limit for a fence. I didn't find any of those in other cities, so it's not like this is some global requirement that everybody should be aware of and is standard. It seems unique to Quincy. And the sightline, the fact that if we were to just lower it to 3 feet, it doesn't improve the sightline is the whole issue. So we can, if the zoning board decides it cannot be an exemption to the height, we put it to 3 feet, it doesn't improve visibility as far as being able to see over it per what the height visibility requirements are. I believe it was in my letter. I think it was 42 inches. So because of the elevation slope, the height of the fence would be over the 42 inches.
And we've changed fences here, we've changed them to 4 feet.
Yeah,
And I don't know what that does either, 4 feet.
that just makes it worse.
Yeah.
And lastly, I was going to reiterate David Jacobs' point from that community meeting, which is that this whole thing is just highlighting the bigger issue of C Street and speeding and the fact that something needs to be done. So if we were to change the fence and it's no longer a zoning issue, it's just going to make it that much less likely that we have the push with the traffic department and all the powers that be to make some drastic changes. So it's kind of just good, I don't know if it's good timing, because this could have done a long time ago, but
Right, maybe
it's
you
at
need a
least
police
triggering
down
a
there
change.
for a couple of weeks to get everyone into.
Right, there's police there all the
Local cars.
time, and it's,
Because they
so,
do, they fly down, they fly.
yeah,
Oh,
and we went down
10
and
miles an hour,
personally,
it's 30, it's 20,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
we went down and personally talked to Ally because it had sounded like David Jacobs wasn't getting information. She did, I think, send some info to him, but saying that they are actively, like, this isn't just somewhere down the road. They are they're in the design phase of doing the traffic diet that has been in talks for a little bit. So that's actively in process.
Thank you.
Yes.
Anyone else? Call part of the meeting closed. Can I have a motion for the, oh, council. Yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to let everyone know I'm David Jacobs. I'm the Ward 1 City Councilor,
Address.
10 Charles Street
Yep.
in House Neck. On May 18th, 2026, I hosted a community meeting at the Adams Shore Library where we discussed the matter of the fence at Post Island Road and C Street. We had the convex mirror up. I say it's probably been up now maybe 6 weeks or so. I did use it right away. It's at night, it's definitely somewhat helpful. During the day, it's not, it's too small. The road right away is 75 feet. So you're looking across the street, it's 75 feet on the other side of the road. So, I mean, if you really look, you can kind of see, but it's not, it's just another distraction. There was discussion here about the potential traffic diet. At the last meeting, there was some discussion about that between myself and the traffic department. That does seem like a means to an end here, but the only thing is this traffic diet is temporary. At least what they're talking about is temporary, right? So like if they even do it, they're talking about a temporary situation, maybe over the summer, where they put up like those little plastic bollards. It's what I'm envisioning from the very little I've been told. And only knows if that's gonna stay up, because they did that on Quarry Street after the Avalon Apartments, and they were gone after a couple of months and they never came back. So what I'm saying is, come July, this board just said, they would hopefully have a ruling in July. I mean, if the bollards are up and the temporary traffic diet is going on, I mean, that's great. But what happens if, the feedback is that, the traffic diet's not something that the residents of House Neck like, and then that goes away, right? So I just feel like you can't give a variance on
Man, if
it.
they like, if that's what they're gonna put in, the traffic people put in ballots, they're gonna pay attention and they're gonna get.
No, I listen, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, I don't think it's, in the zoning board's best interest to give a variance on something that is temporary. Like, I wouldn't give a variance until after it's
That's you.
decided.
That's you, council.
That is me, that's right.
That's you.
Yeah. But we did talk about the installation of a traffic light that could cost upwards of about $500,000. So the city seems that that's not really something that they would want to really proceed with. But, you know, again, my biggest concern is the safety at that intersection. Right now, it is not safe. It won't be safe, you know, moving forward, you know, into July 28th. I do worry that we're going to potentially give out a variance here on something that is temporary, and that temporary thing is going to go away. And I would caution all the members on the board when voting for that variance to know that come July 28th, if it even goes down by July 28th, that may go away, and you may be issuing a variance, you know, with something that's temporary. So I would caution your board members against that.
Thank you, Council. Anyone else? Can I have a motion for the 28th of July?
Mr. Chair, ZBA 2565, Ward 1, Brittany Dunn, for a variance to retain the recently erected 6-foot fence on a corner parcel on the premises numbered 7 Shoreside Road, Quincy, Mass. Move to continue the matter to July 28, 2026 at 6:00 PM.
Second.
On the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Now,
Response?
Yes.
Council,
Attorney Fleming has.
you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, on the matter of ZBA 26-15, per your request, we will ask that the matter be continued, if possible, maybe to the second meeting in August, so that we would have sufficient time to go to the planning board and address these matters with the plan.
24th,
August 25th.
25th.
Thank you.
All right, Council, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a motion for the 25th of CBA 2615.
Yes, ZBA 2615, Ward 1, Boston Property Management, for a variance to raise the existing structure and construct a 2 to 3 story residential structure, each with 3 townhouse-style units for a total of 6, all with individual parking underneath on the premises 94 Greenleaf Street, Quincy, Mass. I move to continue the matter to August 25, 2026 at 6:00.
Second.
On the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Council. All the happy kids.
59 Shabbat's next.
Want to switch me up?
Yeah, Mr. Chin has to leave. Miss May, come in. La May, I'm sorry. Give us,
You can take your seat.
Slide over.
slide over and, yeah. Let's just sit over, let's just sit.
Musical chairs.
Miss LeMay's in, Mr. Chin and.
Charlie doesn't move. Charlie's anchored at the end. The anchor, I like that.
CBA 2567, 686, Architects, James Christopher, for variance to construct a 27.1 inch by 29 foot, 2-story addition in a finished basement on the premise of 59 Sharman. Applicant and representative. Sir, you have the floor.
It'll come up, honey.
Can I give it a second?
Go ahead, give it a shot.
Because it's a great. This is related to the-
If the green light is on, it's action.
I'm sorry, yes, okay. But were you on it? No. Oh,
That's on the front.
all right, why don't we, why don't you run, Miss LeMay, I'm sorry, that's my mistake. Okay, okay, that's what I thought. I thought I saw.
59 Sharman. I think it's
I'm
existing.
getting crazy. I know, it's just, I'm
Well,
tired.
we have it, he's gonna present.
Long day.
Was it always 6? No, it was always 6. They didn't take it in.
Mr. Frankel's in too. What, it's not working? Come on, where's the text? Go,
No, he's getting the signals from the television. It's just gone
But I
displaying what's on that laptop for some reason. But the green light is on, so
So literally, these rooms are connected because it's just really great.
Okay.
So there's. Through the bedroom. Or through the.
is this?
I don't know. Let's see when he presents.
Oh, boy.
Is there a remote for this?
Yeah, check the connection on TV.
They use the televisions as the license.
I agree. I don't mind.
Okay, there you go.
Hey,
There's nothing up there, right? So let me see.
there's always one in the crowd to fix it, right? There you go. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is James Christopher of 686 Architects with the business address of 10 Forbes Road in Braintree. I'm here tonight on behalf of Peter and Nicole O'Connell. This matter was before you about a month ago, I guess, to construct a rear two-story addition, three-story with the grade walkout. During that discussion, there was some concern raised by an abutter about the proximity of the addition to their property line, and I didn't have a presentation to show the board, so I just wanted to show some site photographs here. The top left photo is the left is looking at the front of our property. The right is the center focused on, and then the right is looking at our abutter that which shows the grade drop off and the transition of where that becomes a third story in the rear. And you can see the sun directly overhead there. This photo was taken about 3 o'clock in the afternoon about a month ago. During that discussion, again, we moved the addition over so that the new addition is 11.1 feet away. We added 4 feet to the setback. And then we added the dimension of 21'9" to the front of the driveway so that we could illustrate the 3 parking spaces, 1 interior garage space, and 2 driveway spaces at the front. The floor plans, in the basement, we did rework the bathroom count. There was some discussion with the board about the number of full bathrooms and half bathrooms, so we reworked the makeup so that currently now in the new family room addition, which is in the basement, this is the rear addition, the hatched area to the rear. That is now a half bath. We did look at the relationship between the 2 spaces, the family room, and the foundations are at different grades. That's why there's not a direct connection interior. So the bedroom in the old portion of the house will go upstairs and use the restroom upstairs. On the first floor, looking at on the left side of the plan, that bedroom there, that was originally separated into 2 rooms. We've combined that into 1 room with a full bath, and then the bathroom at the top of the stairs is now a half bath. So that will serve the first floor and the downstairs bedroom. And then on the upper floor, we have 4 bedrooms, and the home office with 2 bathrooms. So we have a bathroom serving the 3 common bedrooms and then the ensuite for the primary. That is our roof plan, which shows the adjusted footprint. And again, that's the overall building height from the street. That is the right side elevation when facing elevation 2. Again, that shows the step in the grade where the addition happens. That is our rear elevation showing the full exposed rear elevation on the basement. Opposite side, and then just some very quick renderings to illustrate our intent. So with that, I'm happy to try to answer any questions.
That's one long 21-foot. Oh, no, you got it. Amazing what a camera can do. What are you doing in the ad in the back?
It'll be programmed to be usable space. So that we don't have any construction anticipated to build into the house, but it'll just be family space for the family.
Equal layout for the parking here, that's what I'm trying to figure out for the door. This is bold.
That's the existing.
Yeah. Yeah, real quick. Now, it's me, I'm sick. You have a new site plan you gave us?
It should be in the package there, but this is it here, colored.
No, it's just the driveway, I'm looking for the driveway. I got it. All right. Any questions from the board?
I have no questions.
Ms. Barrett?
Setback, we had asked for 4 feet, you only gave us 3.5 on the proposed addition. It was at 7.5 on the first rendition, you're now at 11.1. It should be at 11.5 to make the 4 feet
We,
request.
we can
have.
adjust that. Yeah, I think it was just, we can make it 11.5.
Okay. Question about the height of the roof line on the addition. Why didn't you match the ridge of the existing front?
We're hoping to pick up some attic storage space there, and we just thought that visually it made, it was a design choice.
Could you go back to
Aesthetic
that
choice.
rendering so everyone can see? Okay. Okay. And then I'm concerned about storage. So right now, the owner said they're using the garage as storage. In order for it to be used as a car, I'm not seeing any storage on this plan. Where are they envisioning storing all the items that they have in the garage?
So if you see here, there's a 11 feet 5 space of head height in that attic. So we were intending to include a drop-down hatch and create some storage up there as well.
Okay. Thank you.
For me?
I just had a couple of questions. I was concerned about the garage too, because it doesn't look like a car will actually fit in there, so I don't even know if it's an actual spot. Like, I have a garage like that, my car would never fit in there.
A smaller car will fit.
Have a
It
smaller
meets
car
the
to fit in there,
standards.
though? Do you know what I mean?
They try.
I don't know who's speaking, but
Sorry, the owner, Peter, is it?
you have a car that fits in that garage? Or he uses it?
All right, wait a minute. Come on up here and state your name and address for the record, please, if you're gonna speak. Thank you. Wait till you get to the mic so we record it, thank you.
My name's Peter O'Connell at 59 Shawmut Street, Quincy, and her dad drives a Jeep Wrangler, and if the garage is empty, he'll be able to park his car in there.
And what about the next guy that's got a Cadillac? He don't fit?
No,
No?
But he doesn't use it now, but he could use it,
he
but he
could, yeah,
doesn't.
we're using that as storage right now.
Storage,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Not for, I have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
The garage, oh, in one of the bedrooms, do you have a door going outside?
I don't think so.
On the main level
That's how it appears, I was just curious.
for first floor.
Because it has a bathroom and it looks to be like a door to go outside. So I'm just curious what was I with that?
I guess, yeah,
The deck?
that might be existing. Yeah, we can take that out. There's an existing door there. See there? We can take that out.
And that's a bedroom.
Yeah, we can delete that door. It's
That's a 3 foot
it's there.
Okay. Then my last question is, how do you get to the laundry? I'm looking at this and I can't find a way to, how do you get there from anywhere?
2 sets of stairs.
You'd come down the front stair here.
The one that says up
Yeah,
This
and
one
go
here.
through the bedroom
Yeah.
into the
You'd come down here.
storage into the laundry room?
The laundry area is right here, so you can
Okay.
pass right through here.
Okay, so that's kind of like the front and then the
Yeah,
space
I
back
mean,
separate.
that space could be programmed for laundry. Realistically, the laundry room could be right here, and this could be a little bit of unfinished storage. We just see this was a room that we could accommodate to program for that space.
Okay, thank you.
There's no wall here, that's a measurement line, a beam up above.
Okay, thank you.
Good.
Franco's good. You can have a seat.
Thank
Is
you.
there anyone want to speak in favor? In favor? First call, second call, third call, closed. Correspondence?
No
No correspondence.
additional correspondence.
Is there anyone, we'll call it out of hearing closed. Is anyone opposed or undecided? First call? Name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Katie Robbins. I live at 51 Shawmut. I totally appreciate the moving over of the 4 feet. I actually think it looks beautiful from the front as well. My only concern is with the new drawings and pushing it over. It's now 37 feet high, and it was only, I think, like 34.7 before. And so I'm just concerned about how tall it'll look from my ground level. Like, as you mentioned, you know, with the grade going down, just went up to 37 feet, and that was my concern.
Who are you, gonna shrink the attic 2 feet? Is that what you want?
I'm not
I'm not asking you.
Yeah.
You're gonna be looking at it, not me.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's just gonna be tall from my perspective
Right,
because of the
because
grade.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I've been outside and I've
get it.
been outside as well planting
I get
and the sun, totally see, not a concern.
Right.
But just, like looking up, I was
I
like,
get it.
whew, that's gonna be a lot.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the 4 feet over and I think it looks beautiful from the front. I'm just concerned about the 37.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Okay.
Opposed or undecided?
Well, I'm not down.
Second call? Third call?
I think there's a little.
Who's touching the mic, please? What do you got for a pitch in your roof on that?
So he went up, roof went up. So 30 and a half, and 3/4.
8 and 12.
No, was that it?
You cut it down to a 7?
We could do that.
What do you say?
Six?
A couple feet, right?
Can do.
So if you could change that, that'd be great. Thank you. Counselor, you want to speak? No. No, sure. Good evening.
Virginia Ryan, Ward 4 City Councilor. I think I was here last month with regards to the building, and as long as everyone's happy and you could adjust the roof a little, I'm okay with it. It's a beautiful area. It's a beautiful home.
Gorgeous. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Call that part of the hearing closed. So he's going to make a 7-pitch roof, bring it down 2 feet,
7 pitch?
7-pitch, 712.
Property
And that
line at
will-
11.5.
That's yours.
To bring it maximum of 35 feet?
Just go with the pitch.
Yeah, go with the pitch, make sure, it's going to take at least 2 feet off.
With the 7 pitch?
Yeah, it's an inch per, so you get 12 feet, you can say like 2 inches. Yeah. Anything else we have on there? We're all set.
How do you feel about 6 parking, 6 bedrooms?
Huh?
The six bedrooms? I think the basement bedroom is more than they need, and they could use it for
Here's what's
storage.
going on in that family, and I'll tell you. I found out about the whole thing. The people come and visit from Ireland, a couple, and their parents come, and then maybe the kids will come. So all year, there's different people coming, their family to visit. So they got 2 rooms for them. Really,
happened? What
there's
happened? What
there's really
happens?
1 extra bedroom right now. There's 1 extra bedroom there. But the family that comes from, I said, why do you need that? And he goes, we're only gonna put them on the couch, the living room, on the floor. I go, no, I get it.
What do we do,
I get it.
what do we do with the next owner? 6 bedrooms and 6 cars?
If it happens, it happens, I guess. You know, what are you gonna do? What do you got, 4 bedrooms, 2 cars? If it happens, it happens. I mean, you try to account for it, and I think, I mean, it's a beautiful home. I mean, we're spending a ton of money. You know? I like it. I think it's a beautiful plan, but that's me. It's gonna be a very, very, very expensive and nice house when it's done. I think it's gonna upgrade everyone's property that's around there too.
I also like it with the pitch of the roof brought to a 7.
Yeah. It's just too much 11-foot ceiling up there.
I'm not in favor of 6 bedrooms, but most of my fellow board members disagree with me. I'd like to see it at the 11.5 mark, not 11.1, and the pitch of the roof come down as discussed.
Well, May?
I have nothing to add.
Okay. Frankel? Have a motion, please.
Are we writing this into the
Yes.
conditions?
Yep.
ZBA 25-67. 6 Safety, 6 Architect James Christopher for a variance to construct a 27.1 by 29 2-story addition with a finished basement on the premise numbered 59 Shawmut Street, Quincy, Mass, with the addition of no more than a 7-pitch roof and
To correct setback.
the correct setback of 4 feet, not to be less, on the right side.
And removing that door.
Removing the door on the left first
And
floor.
removing the door in the
Left,
Bedroom.
master bedroom.
no, left first floor bedroom. It's the master's on the
Left
upper floor.
first floor bedroom. Agreed?
Yes.
I make a motion to accept with the addendums.
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so moved. I just want to sign this.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
I'm gonna move furniture.
Appreciate it.
Who's presenting 119 Unit Ave? Jump right up so it doesn't get disconnected.
Further on tonight's agenda,
I might need that same work
huh?
connection, please.
You want to go back?
You?
Sure.
Yeah.
No, we just moved it, you're right. ZBA 2613. Hilly Crawford for a variance and findings, construct a second floor deck above the existing first floor living room and add gables to the attic space, creating a third floor bedroom on the premise number 119 Manor Avenue. Quincy, name and address for the record.
Hilliard Crawford, 119 Manor Ave.
Why don't you tell us what you want to do there?
Thank you all for your time tonight. So the finding is to convert an existing second floor roof area above the first floor living room into a deck. Variance is for the dormers on the third floor. Why we are seeking this relief, we're trying to create some modest additional space so my father can live with us. Our home is limited, usable space for our family's needs. This proposal will help us care for him at our home while keeping the property as a single-family residence. We are pursuing a more limited dormer solution within the existing home and roof structure rather than seeking a larger horizontal addition or raising our roof line and going 3 foot on the sidewalls. I can go through this quickly and we can return to some of this stuff, but we believe that this design is being respectful for our neighborhood and the character that it currently has. It's a limited scope in that we aren't increasing the overall footprint and there's no increase to the overall roof height. And it's a restrained alternative to what we could do to make a larger massing of this house. We're trying to, again, remain harmonious with the character of the neighborhood. This is quickly the plans for the front deck. You'll see on the left-hand side the existing shed roof that we're flattening and having an exit out of the stairs to be a front floor deck. The existing is on the top, so you can see that shed roof with the new proposed deck footprint on that same area space below. And this is just some second floor roof decks along Manor Ave and some photos to show that it is in line with the character of the street.
Can I see the photo of your house
Yes,
with the add-ons there?
with the add-ons, apologize. Here we go.
And how big are those dormers?
The dormers, I can come to that here. 15 and a half feet wide for the
And they're
dormers.
both up front?
They're both up front, correct. So if I come to this plan here, highlighted on the bottom left, you'll see the depth of the dormer is,
Yeah.
just over a third
Yeah,
of
I
the depth.
mean, it looks so big like that. It really does. Why didn't they go in the back? Why can't you put them in the back? So it's
It's because of the
like,
program of where the stairs come up here. If I show you here, these stairs, I have the floor plan below.
If you
It
go up
comes
to
up
the middle-
along that
yeah,
front
but you go up
side.
to the middle of the attic, wherever you are, and you just walk down and you go to the back where you got your bedroom. I don't know, just a 3 foot, 4 foot knee walls, 3 foot knee walls up there. And then put another roof on. It's almost, I talked to you outside your house and I was saying, why don't you put like 2 6-foot dormers there on each side and kind of work the space for what you need up there? And everything would be fine, but you got this, it looks like a third story. It is a third story. You're building a third story. That's what you're doing in the front of your house, right?
Yeah, I mean, and again, just the
I know.
reason is the program of the stairs, how that comes
Yeah,
up. If the
yeah.
dormer shrunk, you're gonna have the head clearance issue coming up that stair. So that drove the 15'5" width. That's the exact stair footprint needed to get up on that side. So that's why that drove the design element there. And I just wanted to point out some other context along Manor Ave that we felt like we were in line with the character again of.
I know they were probably there for 100 years or 20 years, and I don't know.
But anyways, that's the purpose behind that footprint. It was driven by the stairs. So it's not like we were trying to.
No, I
maximize
get
the
it,
space.
I get it. I know something made you do that. but
Yeah.
Even a small 6-foot dormer with a stair comes, a small one, just whatever you gotta go up. 12 inches, 14 inches, just to get the headroom to get in to the walking space in your attic down in the room that you want.
Can't see this.
I think the neighbors would be more apt to be happier with them, not in the street, not looking like a three-decker house, and, you know?
So just, and again, I just want to be clear, so I'm not misunderstanding. In the floor plan here, you'd say, reduce the width of this dormer and pull it back somewhere here, so that this 15-foot goes down to 10 feet. So you
No,
get the
6
clearance.
feet, put a 6-foot, so you just get up there and walk up. Get up, you walk up.
I'd have to, yeah, I'll have to draw the, so a dormer here at 6 feet, so that I can get the head clearance up to
Yeah.
this. And then what do you propose on the back side for the livable space? A 6-foot dormer here as well?
No, in the back of the house,
Go this way?
yes, in the back, way in the back of the house.
Yeah, this is utility space here. This is unfinished.
The whole back of your attic's unfinished, correct?
Correct. This is all HVAC mechanical. So it's not, I can't really get into footprint here, but this is.
What do you mean you can't get in the footprint? So what's up there? That
Just
you can't put living space.
Mechanicals on this back unfinished attic space, but this is just unfinished. This is available footprint.
Is it electrical wires?
Oh,
Is it
a big, huge air handler unit with all the ductwork going down to the floors below.
For your second floor?
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
that's a different story.
But you're correct. This is the used mechanical space feeding the second floor. This
Yeah, but
is.
how
remaining
big's
unfinished.
your unit? Your unit, it's not the whole room, it's, and then you get ductwork coming off. Where's your last duct come out of?
I think this wall here, apologize there, would be the line that I would say this is mechanical footprint, but up to this wall is
You're looking
available.
for one bedroom up there, correct?
Yes, yeah. And again, the width was driven by the
Like two dormers, two 6-foot dormers, then down a little bit, with a space in the middle, rearrange what you gotta rearrange, and have your bed in that, you can't have a third floor. It's just too much. The height of that thing is gonna be huge. Start adding that on top of that house as big as it is, I mean,
So I think these are 6-foot high walls at the sidewall.
yeah,
I think by code for that 2.5 stories, you get up to
right.
3 feet, right?
Right.
So, sorry, I keep losing my cursor when I do this. So I came up to 3,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then I could also raise the roof line like this. I could do that as well to try and create that footprint for that head clearance in the middle, right? I'm trying to get some head clearance so that the room's not super tight.
right.
So that's an alternative I could look at for sure, sorry. And again, I'm not trying to step on toes or make a big third story. I'm just trying to keep it within the character without having to raise the roof line and what I think would be more obtrusive to sightlines and stuff like that. That was the intent.
I'm saying if you put 3-foot knee wall.
Yeah.
up, put a 3-foot knee wall up in that area.
Yep.
Put little 6-foot dormers on top of that. You don't have to be here. You could just go build that.
Understood.
You have rights to build
Understood.
that. But you're not gonna have a big giant room like squared off that you want, but you're gonna have your room up there and you won't have to. And it won't look like a third floor going in your house.
Let me say, I definitely agree with you, and we looked at that as an option, and I
okay.
actually think that would create more restricted sightlines. I'm losing this, I'm just gonna. You hear me?
But yeah, you could put one on, I know what you're saying, you could put one up where the stairs is and put them in the back, put the 2 dormers in the middle or something.
But the dormer's gonna create the same profile.
Sort of, right, but it's legal, it's not 20, 15, say 18 feet long.
100%.
Right.
And that's why I was coming to ask for this
Right.
minimal relief, because I actually felt this was gonna be
Right.
less of a granular structure.
But from the side, when you're driving up on Manor Ave, your house, you're gonna see this 15-foot big dormer, it's gonna look like it goes the whole way.
Okay, understood. And I'm just saying, we did explore that.
I'm just looking, I don't know, we'll see what the neighbors say, but I know. Yeah.
And that, that's why I was looking for the relief and
Any
going through the
thought, I don't know
process.
what you went through, I was trying to see what you went through to think.
Yep.
I know you kept saying, I said to you, before I left, I said, why don't you think about a couple 6-foot dormers on each side, and you can just build what you need up there, one bedroom, that's what you're looking for, a bedroom. I
Exactly.
mean, I don't know if it's for you, or it's gonna be for the kids, I don't know.
Yeah, for my father, but,
Oh.
who's, the reason again for this, we bought the house, my dad had open heart surgery.
Right.
He's not recovered mentally, he needs care. So we're now owning this house with the reduced footprint. I'm trying to find a creative way to create.
You're gonna put them on the 3rd floor?
His physical ability is great. It's his
Oh.
mental decline, unfortunately. He
Okay.
had with
All right.
bypass. He had said that. I know people are going to speak in opposition. We had a great community meeting where everybody was able to voice their opinions. I did have other neighbors, say that they were in support of this because, to your point, I'm putting in money to the house. We're improving it. So people
I get it. I get
are in
it.
favor as well. But if any other questions that I can answer.
Anyone have any ideas here? Anyone want to speak? You? Anyone?
I like the idea of shrinking it down and not making it appear as a 3-story with the dormers and maybe a knee wall of
Yeah,
whatever specific height is required.
it's 6 feet's different than 15 foot, I know.
I mean, it'd be nice to put a 3rd floor on, but we just don't do that, so.
Yeah.
Sorry to interject. My architect, Paul Maloney at PMJ, he did have something he wanted to say. I'm not an architect, so he might have a
Name and
reason
address
behind
for the
it.
record if you want to speak, please.
Paul Maloney, I'm at 7 Alpine Run Road in Kingston.
You take a note?
I did.
Okay.
Back to this real quick. So one thing to just understand on Tad's reasoning for going with this layout here. When we met out there, we talked about how to get that room up there.
Yeah.
If you look at the window on the 3rd floor, you'll notice that window is about at this elevation when you're standing up there.
Yeah.
So the peak of your roof is basically 6 inches above code minimum for ceiling height. So the two options were we try to create this sort of extended dormer that maximizes the existing roof height, or we go to the sort of like by right tallest roof peak, which would be an additional 6 feet up. And then with those 3-foot wing walls, you would get enough clearance because you're increasing the pitch of those dormers. So Tad actually told me that he wanted it this way because when we looked at the houses behind us, it just seemed like it was gonna be more impactful to everybody if we raised that roof to 6 feet, and then the dormers would actually be a similar profile to what you see here. So.
And the problem that we have here, sitting here, is the other neighbor wants one, the other neighbor wants from the other one neighbor, because she wants 3rd floor, and she's up higher, or he's up higher, and he gets to see the ocean better, and no cars driving in front of him. I mean, I get it, we'll hear from the neighbors.
Yep, and, just quickly, that's why the zoning bylaws don't change and why there's a process and why everybody comes to the board.
No, I appreciate everything, and I just thought, when we talked.
What's
I
the
thought you
current
were-
height of the roof?
25 feet. It's pretty, because yes,
Okay.
yeah, because of the grade, you have to calculate some
Sure,
of the
so the
lower
average
floor.
grade is 25 to 28. Okay,
So it's actually a relatively short house for that
Sure.
area.
okay.
And I did do this kind of massing study, which you can see I did in order of the address. So the 119 Manat Ave is 4th from the right. So you can kind of see where the roof line is versus some of the larger structures on the street.
Yeah, I know,
So,
thanks.
yep, of course.
You can
Thank
have a
you.
seat.
Should I leave this
Anyone
here?
want, yeah, you can leave it. Does anyone want to speak in favor? First call?
David Lusbader, 127 Manat Ave. As the previous councilwoman had said, this is a beautiful neighborhood, this is a beautiful house, it's a beautiful addition. I appreciate that people are sensitive to change. By right, he could go much higher, which I think would block, the view more. This is a wonderful family. This is the kind of people you want in this neighborhood. This is a sad welcome, actually, to tell you the truth, but it is what it is. They're wonderful people. They have a growing family. He's taking care of his father. I think the house fits, Manat has changed dramatically. There's a lot of nice houses. There's not little cottages anymore. And everybody here who'll probably speak against this, built a house that blocked somebody's view behind them. It's just the way it is.
You gotta buy the lot.
Right, you gotta buy the lot, so I appreciate it. I feel bad for people, if they think they're getting slighted, but, your decision is this aesthetically pleasing? I think it is. I think the plan is very nice. Honestly, I think if he goes higher and does the dormers, he could have done that, by right, not been here and probably, blocked more of the view. I think he's gone out of his way to try to accommodate people. And I'd like to welcome him to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Anyone else want to speak in favor? Second call? Third call? Call it part of the hearing closed. Anything from the,
Those three are in favor.
oh, before I close this, I got 3 letters that are in favor. Just put their name and their addresses in. You don't have to read the letters.
Robert Putnam, 117 Manor Ave, Quincy, in a butter. I'm in favor. David Gendro, 111 Manor Ave, Quincy, to a concern, in favor. David Lusbetter, I write this letter and express my absolute support for the proposed changes of 119 Manor, in favor.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. We got a letter here from the DPW, review the reference project and have no comments. Anyone opposed or undecided? Please step up, name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name's Morris Hancock. I'm at 94 Babcock Street. I'm directly behind him. The corners of our property touch. We've been here in Quincy for 6.5 years now. My wife and I moved here from a community on the South Shore. I'm retired from the fire department. She was retired as a school principal. We are thrilled with Quincy. We have enjoyed being here. When we came here to buy our house was originally probably a cottage, and the second floor was put on maybe over 40 years ago. Our second floor has a family room on the second floor. Sliders, a patio. We have a bedroom on the second floor and a master bathroom. And then the first floor is a typical floor where you have your kitchen, your dining room, your living room.
Party rooms upstairs.
Yeah. So our family room's upstairs.
Right.
And the character of the neighborhood is phenomenal. We have been so pleased and so thrilled to be here. When you come into our house, you're very, very surprised at just what an awesome location this is. Quincy, House Neck is really quite a place. We feel so vulnerable that we've come here now, and we hope and pray that the laws and the zoning regulations and this board will protect us. We're retired. We're just, I'll be 73. Who knows how many more years I have and climbing up those stairs. But right now, we love being there. The reality is, I know, is we had a family, we had a neighborhood meeting at our house. So everybody was able to come upstairs and sit in our family room, as was Tad. He could see exactly how the character of our home and everything that's the beauty of our neighborhood will change. This is a terrible idea. If there's something else that he could do to try to restrict it a little bit, that would be so much more helpful. And when I asked him about that, and he looked at what he was going to do to us, and I said, can you look me in the eye and you're okay with this? And he smiled and said, yes, I can. So, as Dr. Lesbader said, no, this is not the case. His father's going to live up there, supposedly. It's a third-floor attic with no bathroom. We asked him specifically at the meeting in the neighborhood, are you going to live in this house? No, he said, no, we will just use it occasionally. So a lot of things that have been said are misrepresented. So, we've been here 6.5 years. This is the third owner. In the previous two, they sell, move on, and make a big profit. And, who knows? But I'll tell you, we love being here in Quincy.
What do you mean by that? Go ahead.
We love being here in Quincy.
What do you mean by the third owner? Go ahead.
It's just the third owner, yeah. So will they stay a short time, move on, and sell for a big profit? I have no idea. I can only speculate that, but it's the third owner. So the previous two,
I thought you said the
we've talked to
third
them, so we
Omen.
know.
I'm sorry.
Oh, third owner, third owner. Oh, no, yeah.
Talking about, you go, it is.
No, there's no omens, no omens. Yeah, no, no, no. No.
Missing something here.
No, but we feel so vulnerable, and it's in your hands.
So it's
So
the third owner in 6 years, that house?
6 years, yeah.
Holy God.
Yep, yep.
No one likes house, Nick?
No, I don't know. I certainly do. My wife and I are very, very happy there.
I live there
with
myself.
our 8 grandchildren. Yep. So it's a great place. Anyway,
So you're saying the height,
it's a real problem.
Real
It's a
problem.
real problem.
so you're up that high?
Yes. It's a real problem.
You understand when we're talking about what he can do as of right?
Right.
That will mean?
That surprises me. That surprises me that he can continue to change the height even more,
Yeah.
considering that the Putnams right next door, their house is probably maybe 12 feet lower. And, you know, as far as a room for an in-law, for a family member, there's room to put a first floor bedroom in the back, the side. There's a lot of other alternatives than trying to put your poor father, frail, up to the third floor with no bathroom. It just doesn't make sense, folks, to me anyway. And when we met with him in person,
Go ahead.
his character showed, he smiled and said, yeah, I have no problem with doing what I'm going to do. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you, Mark. Next, name and address for the record?
My name is Bill Kennedy. I live at 123. I'm right next to the Thad, I guess, and his property.
123 Manor?
123 Manor, that's right. If you look at the property, if you look and the street, his property would be just to the right of ours. We're on the left. We've been there, I guess this is our 12th year. We've been in Quincy a long time. But we enjoy it up there. You know, there's no question that this addition is going to affect us, but that's not really the reason I'm here. The reason I'm here is because I think, in all due respect, there's a way that you can perhaps control it or suggest it to him, and he doesn't put up something horrible, but he gets the space that he wants. If he says he needs space for his father or whatever, I mean, that he can put that space in there, and he doesn't have to be blocking the view of my neighbors who are out there religiously. You know, some people, everybody likes a view, we get a view,
Right.
but, you know, he's going to lose a part of his view. And, you know, I think you can, like you can say, you can buy it, maybe you can just build a monstrosity, and we have that enough in Quincy, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, I go by, you know, and I know, I guess, you go down C Street and you see all of those big houses that have mushroomed up. You can't even see the water. It's like you're in New York City because there's no view of the water. And I suppose you can do that. And maybe that's what this will do if this comes up. But all I'm saying is that I think in all due respect, to keep it to the character, some accommodation should be made to minimize the disruption of the people who are behind us. And that includes the neighbor who just spoke, and that includes other people that will be affected. And they could close down the road because it's the same thing. Everybody wants to mushroom it up. And I just don't think it's right. You know, I also understand that, you know, it's not their, quote, not going to be their permanent home, but an occasional home. That's fine. I mean, you know, they said Mitt Romney had whatever he had 20 homes. So maybe, you know, maybe that's the case and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just think that there's a way that you can, I believe, modify this by requiring that some of these restrictions be made so that it doesn't do the same thing that this will do. Now, maybe if he comes back with this, he comes back with it, and I guess everybody will understand whatever. But I think that what my neighbor wants to do, which is just, and I think you're talking about it and restricting the size of it, makes sense in some ways. So those people behind, you know, for everybody. But yeah, I also say, you know, and I said it to Thad at the meeting. We have been there, and we have seen this is a third owner. The other owners had young kids. I don't know that it's really, you know, we all love Quincy, and but it's not. I don't think it's an area that we want to have small kids there because the road. There's many problems with that road, speeding on that road, and I think that's why the other people left. And I think that if you tried to make it your permanent one, you wouldn't be staying there either. That's their choice, I suppose, not mine. I don't have young kids, but I'm just saying that I think that there's a way that you can modify it and still, you know, let him build if he wants to on the back of it, and we can live and let live. But that's what I would ask for your consideration.
Thanks, Bill.
Okay, thanks very much.
Next.
Hi, thank you for your time. My name's Allison McCarthy. I live at 90 Babcock Street. So my concern here is, again, thank you for your time and your suggestions. I do want to bring up one thing that concerns me is I face that area. And honestly, in 5 years, I could come back here and ask to put on 2 stories onto my house. So I totally understand that, growing up, building up can be dangerous, and I am concerned about dormers and sale effect on the roof system is where I'm really mostly focused on, is the impact to the environment and what it can do for EMS and being able to have the ability, as we're like a very small little tiny neighborhood and we're on top of each other. As you see, these houses are minimal. And if we have any kind of a fire or if we have any kind of EMS need or another flood like we had in 2018, what kind of a impact will that do? And will that help us for rescue officials to get us out? And what that will look like for us down the road is really my biggest concern on that. I do worry about the long-term effect of how Quincy is going up and growing bigger, just like many of the houses on C Street, or you can go through many of Squantum, but really focusing on really the wind and the impact and the unknown impact it will do to our community. So that's about it.
Thank you. In C Street, the reason those are all 3 stories, the first floor is a floodplain. I mean, that last time we had water down there, we lost a couple of one Rolls Royce I know of. That was Tootie's. Tootie, the guy that owns a store, lost his Rolls Royce in that flood. And a lot of people lost everything in their basements that they kept there, thought it wasn't gonna happen again, which was silly. That's why they got 3 stories. First floor is junk. Water comes in and it goes out. Now we get new seawalls. Let's see what happens.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Jim McCarthy, 90 Babcock Street. I am an abutting neighbor in the back. First, I'd like to thank the counselor and Mr. Crawford for hosting a little neighborhood meeting to explain to us the scope of work and what they plan on doing and hearing our concerns. So thank you. My concern is safety and wind and the environment. By adding a large shed dormer, it actually creates, to create a bedroom on the 3rd floor, a larger dormer would raise the roof profile and increase the size of the structure. But in a tight neighborhood, especially the houses in the back that are on the windward side of a nor'easter, that changes the wind pattern. I've lived in this house for 54 years, and I've never had wind damage. We've had at least 2 houses change the profile and the size of their footprint. And in the last 3 years, I've had three wind-related issues. Aside from that, I have concerns about putting a bedroom on the 3rd floor. I understand your father had surgery and is ill, but even if it's not physical, any heart condition would affect going upstairs, coming downstairs, especially to pee at 2 in the morning, which apparently that's what happens after 55. Right? Yeah, so that is my concern. Specifically, 3rd floor living for a bedroom. I see there's quite a few on here. There's a few that are missing in between, but that, to me, presents an issue with public safety. Firefighters gaining access, not realizing living quarters are on a 3rd floor. Typically, 3rd floors or whatnot are attics. So that does raise concern for me. If they did do a shed dormer, it still increases the profile of wind coming against the house. A conversation we had at the neighborhood meeting with Councilor Jacobs was specifically what you mentioned, is sort of putting a 3-foot knee wall, but not necessarily raising the peak of the house, but building it up. And that gains, overall, it gains a lot more than putting a simple dormer there. And it also reduces the chance of the wind, once again, impacting the neighbors. So that's my greatest concern. So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Anyone else? Counselor?
Again, Board Counselor David Jacobs. I just wanted to, as some of the residents have spoken, we had a community meeting a couple of weeks ago at the Hancock's house. Everyone was invited. It was pretty well attended. Most of the folks who talked here tonight were there. I concur with most of the things that I heard here today. I am, skeptical of this. I don't like the idea of a third floor. It's I live on Charles Street in a business B district, and I actually thought about putting like a third floor on my house. And actually, it was actually Jim McCarthy. My wife had COVID and the flu at the same time and fainted. And Jim came as a firefighter in Quincy and carried her down the stairs. And I thought to myself, my goodness, like what if we were up on the third floor, right? So that's actually one of the reasons we chose not to do that. But I really just don't want to, be coming down Manat Ave, and just, there are obviously a few there. I think some of these are a little embellished, like the one on the far right is definitely embellished a little bit. This is just not something that I think is, good for our community, good for our neighborhood. I don't think it's safe, and I don't think the residents want it. And, so I'm here to represent the residents. And, we have other projects coming before this board. There's going to be another one coming up on Manat Ave. And I'm opposed to that too. So you're going to be hearing some pretty consistent things from me. I'm not in favor of this project. And so that's where I stand on it. So hopefully you guys can make a decision here tonight that's best for the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Could you read that into the record, please? Last call? Wait a minute. Last call? Call it a pod. I gotta put one letter that's opposed from Counselor Devon.
ZBA case 2613, 119 Manat Ave. I apologize for not being able to attend tonight's zoning board of appeals meeting regarding proposal 119 Manat. Please accept this letter as notice of my opposition to the proposal. It's essential that we maintain character integrity of our residential A districts. I respectfully request you consider all these concerns during your deliberations on this matter. Noel T. DeBona, Counselor at Large.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk. You have something to say? Go ahead.
First off, I want to thank all my neighbors for coming tonight and showing that you care about the neighborhood. Really appreciate that. There were some things that were said as if it was verbatim from me. I just want to say that it was not the
I
way
hear
I
you.
said
You got
anything
your
on that.
speak.
Thank you. Again, just to reiterate, we're trying to minimize the impact of some of the concerns of the neighbors. Again, I can go by right and do something a little bigger than this, which, I'm trying to do the right thing here by doing this. And I thought it was a minimal relief, and I apologize to anybody who sees it otherwise, but I just wanted to make the last statement on that. And the reason for the design is driven by the staircase. If I do anything with dormers, it makes it inefficient, where I would probably pivot towards raising the roof line and doing the 3-foot knee wall. So that was the last thing I wanted to say. Paul, anything? Good? We're good. Thank you all.
Thank you. I just can't agree with that plan the way it's drawn at all. So I'll be voting no.
Yeah, it's a little much. There's a lot of other items that he could do to accomplish what his goal is, so I would not be in favor.
It'll cost maybe a lot more money. We'll see if we can do something, but that's what happens when you're gonna build a house.
I'm not in favor of the design as presented.
So Meg?
I just have a question of one of the things that, in this, maybe, whatever. Why do you have so many deadbolts
On your closets.
on your closets? That appears to us as if it's not somewhere that you would live with your family.
That's,
Existing, sorry.
yeah, those are existing.
The drawings are done off of a phase file of the existing house, and all we did was modify what we were modifying. We weren't doing like door hardware and things like that, so.
And if I can speak to if this is going to be a primary residence, we haven't moved in yet because it's under construction. That was misconstrued that it's not going to be our primary residence. Our intent is.
But you could see how it's like, why you have
Yes,
all these
yeah, yes.
deadbolts all over the house.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so,
Sorry,
but
just to clarify.
as everyone else mentioned, as is, I would not be in favor of it.
So Frank?
Yeah, this runs into a couple things that we deal with. One is, I don't like the precedent of putting the big dormers that take up a big area area. I'm not telling you I don't like your design, I'm telling you I just don't want to see someone kind of, the next guy down the block saying, see his house, he did it. Especially when I know you have some type of out of staying within code. Also, we have this discussion often about, I think Marty says, you gotta buy the lot. You buy your spot, but you also buy your spot with some form of expectation that we will enforce the zoning code as they are, if we can. And there has to be a reason to it. And again, I think, I don't know why I'm preaching tonight, but it's not to my norm.
It's about time.
I think you can get out of here and do what you want without having to cause any new precedent. And I understand why you're doing it, and I applaud you for trying to be nice to everybody. Sometimes you just can't, and I get it. So that's sort of, and I've had trouble bypassing, I can go up and downstairs like a cat, so you're fine.
Well, I just want to thank you all for your time and consideration in this matter, again, to my neighbors as well. Appreciate it.
I do love your porch.
Actually, on that point, so if, can I do the porch? Is it like we've been talking all about the
You
deck.
just want to put a deck on top of your porch?
Yeah, right now
On
it's
top
the
of
shed
living room?
roof.
Is
so
that your
just-
living room?
Sorry?
Is that your living room?
Yes, correct.
You just want to put a porch there to look out at the water?
Yes.
All right, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a seat.
Can I just jump in?
You really shouldn't, because we're past that. And the problem was, everyone knew he was putting a porch on, and everyone knew he was putting dormers on.
He's had a chance to.
Go ahead, I'll give you 2 seconds. Make it quick, please, because
My
we're really,
recollection-
really.
My recollection of that meeting and
Just
what was
wanna
said is
add
not what was said
something.
here.
I'll let you add something.
But
because
there's no question
You're
that
a
that.
house neck guy.
Yeah, there's no question. When I first moved in, I think I was only there a week, and I was yelling at some contractors that at 6:30 in the morning were yelling down the street to one of their other contractors, and I mentioned it to somebody from Quincy who lived here many, many more years than I did, and he said, well, that's just what a house necker would do, so I don't know if that makes me one. But my point only is that there's no question, and I'm not here, but that, I'm not here to oppose the porch. There's no question when he puts that second floor porch out, he's taking part of our view that can look down and look at the water. One of the nice things about having a view, and I'm not here to oppose that. I'm not here to oppose it. But there's no question that has a negative effect. I'm here strictly because the people in the back, I think, are impacted by this, the size of it, and that's the reason. But there's definitely he's taking away the view, but
But if someone had a house there, wouldn't you think they should be able to build a porch in their house so they go out and sit there and have something and watch the ocean? That's why they bought that house on the water.
well, there is no porch there. But I mean,
Right, but there's gonna be. So he's asking for.
if you allow it, yeah, I suppose.
You know what I mean?
But then what's going to
Everyone's got a
happen?
right to do something that's really
Well,
okay.
And then the other thing,
Whether it takes up your view or not is not his problem or anyone's problem. That's,
but they don't.
you should have a right to upgrade your
Yeah,
property.
they have a right to
To a
upgrade.
point. I mean, I
But
wouldn't
there's one
say a
thing,
big porch
you
is
can put
40 feet
railings
long,
up
no.
there, or you can put something that blocks the view completely. Like I was here, we were here
And we're
earlier.
not done yet. Thank you. You can have a seat.
Well,
You
all
may-
I'm saying
no, you're
is
done.
that-
You're done. Thank you. Now, let's get back to his porch. Set this meeting for another time. I want to see the design of the porch, what's going to be on there, how far it's going out, what the materials are, and let's do it right, all right? 2 weeks, just a porch. I just want a picture of his porch, what he's going to do. Fair enough?
Yep.
Everybody?
Agreed.
All right, you do that in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
All right, 2 weeks. You have to have it in a week. Has to be in her office, what? No, it should have been this Friday?
It's already in the.
This Friday, right?
I mean, the porch is already in.
Can you get it by here by Friday?
Yes.
The porch is already in.
The drawings, dimensions, what you're putting on there, what it is?
It's already here.
You can, right? The other guy, okay.
So you would have to have it in my office by Thursday at 9 AM or Friday morning at 9 AM because it's a continuance. Because they have to have it 2 weeks prior to the meeting, and the next meeting that it would be continued to.
Six, no,
June 9th.
that's right.
There.
Yeah, can I have a motion,
When was the meeting?
motion to move this, and we're only gonna talk about, the motion is just to talk about his porch.
June. What date?
Ninth, right? Yeah. Sorry.
Make a motion, ZBA 2613. Elid Crawford, 119 Manette Ave, Quincy, Mass. Make a motion to Move it till June 9th to discuss the addition of a second-story porch.
Second.
On the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. So if you want to talk about the porch, we'll be back the 9th of June. And I think he'll share that with all his, what about his,
You actually voted on the
that's the, no, we're going to deny the whole thing. With the dormer's not going to happen. No one here wants it. So the whole case is
The
getting.
dormer as
really
presented.
To the 9th.
The dormer as presented, he can do more as of right. He can go up as of right.
He can do whatever he wants to do by right now. He wants to get his porch, so the contractor's gonna do every one thing. You know what, give me a motion to deny the last thing except for the porch. Yeah. Make this.
ZBA 2580. ZBA 2613, 119 Manor Ave, Quincy, Mass.
Whoa, we're not done here. Go ahead.
Has
Thank
been
you.
denied as presented.
On the motion, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Dormers are gone, but he's coming for a porch. We continue just the porch. You all set? Next. 37 Meadow. ZBA 2580. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Charlie.
You go next. Charlie's in. Breath Bar for a finding variance to construct a 1.5-story addition on the existing dwelling, pave the yard and create a patio in the area of 37 Meadow Street. Applicant or, name and address for the record.
Owen Thomas Architecture, 2 Central Street, Ipswich, Massachusetts.
Okay. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, so I'll quickly spin through the plans and then I'll be happy to answer any questions. Here we have just the existing site photos. As we jump down, some of the revisions that we made previously, this is our third meeting. For the second meeting, we reduced the second floor square footage by removing the rear bay. This also reduced the overall mass of the building. We reduced the top level deck, which was previously over the bay. Now the deck is completely inset into the roof line. We removed the third bedroom from the second floor. So now the second floor is a true 2-bedroom, 1 bath. And also reduced the square footage of the second floor by removing the bay. And in the rear yard, the pavers that was listed on the variance, we've revised the landscaping plan to make it so that the pavers, the patio, the steps, and the pool area are all below the 40% requirement. And we've also, the owner also agreed to put a code-activated hardcover over the pool. Since the last meeting,
Using pavers in the backyard, correct? Not paving.
there's no pavers, there's patio pavers, like permeable patio pavers for a
Right.
patio. But even, I guess we were told that that counted towards the paver, so we reduced it to be grass.
But I don't want, no one's going back there to pave the backyard, correct?
No, and as you can see here, so the green area is landscaped area, and the little section that says patio is they would be
Right.
permeable
Just a
pavers.
patio
Patio
block to put
pavers.
down.
There's no
Right.
driving or, yeah.
There you go. I don't care about driving, I just don't want asphalt back there.
No, yeah. Since the last meeting, we have pushed the front back 2 feet to allow the true 18-foot. There's if the existing building is 17 feet from the property line, we've moved it back to be 19 feet so that we can have a full-size 18-foot.
Entirety?
No, so we pushed, what we'll do, and I can show you in the plans, we'll pour another or build a concrete block foundation
Right.
2 feet back.
Right.
And we pushed the first floor back and a portion of the second floor back,
Right.
the 2 feet. And I can show you that on the plans on the next slide, but that just to show you here, that's where on the front,
Yep.
the climb where we pushed the building back. And this also reduces the square footage in the basement, first and second floor as well. So left to right, the floor plans, the basement level, I've clouded where we adjusted the rear patio as well as pushed the front foundation wall back. We also changed the bathroom on in the basement to a half bath with no shower.
Yep.
The second plan over, you can see again where we pushed the front of the building back 2 feet. The third, the second level plan, the whole plan was revised so that now that is truly a 2-bedroom with 1 bath and a laundry room. And then in the half story under the pitched roof on the upper level there. Again, the elevations I've clouded where we've kind of removed sections of the massing as well.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy to answer any questions beyond that.
No, you did everything. I'm just trying to look at one thing. You get 19 feet from the house to the sidewalk stops, correct?
The house is 19, the parking space is 18 as proposed.
Right, but it's gonna be 19 feet from the lot line, from your lot line, correct?
Yes, it's actually 19.1, and it gets slightly bigger actually as you go
Back.
to the left, but that's the minimum is 19.1
Right.
to the front of the.
And that's what kind of worried about getting a couple cars off the street. Any questions? Mr. Himmel?
I have no questions.
No questions.
No, not at this time. No, I'm here.
Okay. Does anyone want to speak in favor? The new plan, the new plan. First call, second call, third call closed. Anything from
There is no
DPW same?
communications.
All same, okay. Is there anyone opposed or undecided in the new plan? First, council? I usually call you last, that's okay, go ahead.
Well, I think there's someone else
I
here,
don't know what those two, okay.
right?
That was the first one, you guys.
Was there any correspondence received from any abutters? No new, okay. So the only, they have improved the plan. I mean, they're putting a massive home on a tiny little lot, 3,200 square feet. I love the look on the street side, which I've said before, there's no room for a pool. I know that's not within your purview, but I'm telling you, there is no room for a pool in the back of that. So I'm a little bit concerned, the house is in an LLC. I do hope that you plan on moving into it and being our neighbor.
Yeah.
I've invited you to come down and meet me at my neighbor, we're gonna be neighbors. I'm like,
No, it's Dave.
oh,
He's not here.
he's not here?
He's not here today.
Oh, he's not here. My new neighbor isn't here and I'm here. Is that what we're saying?
Couldn't make it today with that. He's 100% gonna live there.
Yep, okay. There's no room for a pool. So, Mr. Conlon, I hope that you will not allow that to happen, because the only way they're going to be able to dig for a pool is when they're digging the foundation, which I don't know how they're going to salvage that foundation, but I know that the neighbor next door has a severely autistic child, and they have begged for there to be no pool. So I just hope that the plans are decent. I hope Mr. Moynihan will be my neighbor, and I hope that you will approve it, subject to no pool. Thank you.
Thank you, council. Is there anyone else? Last call? Opposed?
May I speak?
You're opposed?
No.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. We'll call it part of the hearing closed. You have something to say, closing? Go ahead.
Just as, and it may be irrelevant as it relates to the pool, but I know Dave, the owner, has had several conversations with the direct abutter about the pool. And after the first meeting, when it came to light that they were opposed to that, he did have a long discussion. He went to their house and met with them. And that was, the result was the agreement to have the hardcover with a code-activated hardcover for the pool. So, and I believe they came to terms with that. Hence why they're not opposing it.
That's what I'm saying. No. That's up to, that's what I discussed the rest of it. We've never done that. I'm not approving a pool. He just goes down and gets a permit for a pool and then see what happens. That'll be no problem. But, we're approving his house and his property. He's telling us he's putting a pool back there, but that's not up to us. What we have before us is his plan with all the changes we asked him to do. Any questions?
I have a condition. Should you seek a pool, which is not up to us to deny or approve, I would ask for a fence with no gate. So the only way to access the pool would be through your home. And I think that would help a safety measure for the children next door.
There it is, we have permanent fence around the whole backyard.
Correct, but I don't want a gate, zero gate. So the only way to access the pool is by going through the house.
Well,
I don't even know if that's legal.
Right, how do you get out?
Yeah, I don't even.
Through the house. There'd be no way to get out in the fire. They're out there having fun, right?
I asked that of the building department if we could make that request.
You can make the request, but something that I can't ask for that, because with the building code.
Correct, but is that against building code to have a fence with no gate? It's not.
You'd have to have a gate, right, to get out.
You need a gate.
Oh, okay, so we can't ask for
As
that.
I think that would
Thank
be a
you.
life
Okay.
safety.
Anything
Never
else?
mind.
Never mind.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I do think, though, that within the discussions that they had talked about locking mechanisms and again, in communication with the neighbors,
shouldn't all be
with the
locked up,
abutters,
you're right.
that
Any gate should
they
have a-
would be the utmost, take the utmost care to that.
A combination lock that only the people know. So go ahead.
I have a hard time looking at a four-story building in the rear. You know what I mean?
But it goes down about
I know, but it's still,
60 feet.
I know, but it's still, on the backside, they're still looking at 4 stories.
Right where I live.
Huh?
All them houses are on the hill.
No, I know, I agree.
You
I
look
mean,
here, it's like 2 stories. You look in the back, you go, whoa, I didn't even know it was a 4-story building. Because it's into the mountain.
Yeah, if you looked at Shaman today, same thing from the mountain above.
Huh?
Looked at Shaman, it appeared as if it was 4 stories. Because of it,
Looks huge, because it goes,
because of the lot going down by
no,
25
but that's,
degrees.
Mr. Franco? Mr. O'Brien, you done?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't love the back either. Front, it's a good job.
Is the current basement walkout at that elevation or you're excavating?
We are not excavating.
So that is the current grade in
That's
the
the
back?
current grade at the back.
So far, that
Yes.
goes down, it goes
Yeah, it drops way down.
way down. Even the, like, was the air conditioner, someone ripped up on the side of the house, it's like, I think it's in the neighbor's.
Yeah, it goes way down.
Way down.
That's kind of
It's,
short.
it is, it's way down. It is kind of weird the way it is, right? The street goes this way, but that thing goes, it's like a big hole. All set?
Yeah, I guess.
How many vote in favor?
I'm in favor.
Reluctantly in favor.
I feel the same way.
Mr. Franco?
Oh, I thought you were pondering.
I was wondering.
Yeah. that's elected.
I'm not in favor of the plan. I just don't like that big back, but now I'm in your seat. I'm irrelevant.
Have a motion, please.
You would know, Mr. Frankel? or-
Yes.
I don't know.
You don't know. Have a motion, please.
24 in favor.
Yeah.
ZBA 25-80. Gareth Barr for a finding and variance to construct a 1.5-story addition on the existing dwelling, pave the rear yard with pavers to create a patio area on the premise 37 Meadow Street, Quincy, Mass. I make a motion to accept.
Second.
On the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yay.
Okay, 4-1, all set.
Thank you.
Motion adjourned, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.